Do birds of a feather flock together? That is the topic up for discussion tonight. This is a little different from what I usually do. But tonight we're going to be checking out a podcast episode clip from a podcast called KrewSeason. And shout out to KrewSeason. It is a dope podcast and you might want to go check it out. But in this little clip, they're going to be talking about that age-old saying that birds of a feather flock together. Let's check it out.
In college, for me, I was friends with hoes, and it was look, I wasn't doing what they was doing, and I didn't
Not
judge
all
them
of
for
what they was
doing
doing.
it. Huh?
Not all of what they was doing.
I wasn't doing what they were doing at all. But you know what? It's first of all, I wasn't doing what they was doing. Actually, they were trying to get me to do what they were doing, and I wasn't. And I was the boring, responsible friend. I was downstairs while they was doing other things, and I was sitting there on my phone. Like I just, that wasn't me. But it affected me in my dating life because there was a guy that didn't take me serious because my friends were hoes, and he thought I was doing what they were doing.
Who you around is like, it speaks volumes, you know what I'm saying? It speaks about, like what you may or may not allow, how easy you are, how you think, how dumb you are, how smart you are, all that type of shit. So, yeah. Your friend group is very important.
Let's talk about it. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. So you guys see the young lady just said in college, is always in college, right? But she was saying in college, she was friends with hoes. And then instantly she started saying, but I wasn't doing what they were doing. Everyone says that. Everyone says that. So she said she was knowingly friends with hoes and she wasn't doing what they were doing. And that, while they would do stuff, they go upstairs, she sit downstairs on her phone and do nothing, be the boring, responsible friend. Her words. And but she won't doing it. And my man quickly said, you won't doing all of what they were doing. And she was just like, she just wasn't doing it. And then, he instantly says, your friend group is very important. Who you're around says a lot about you, says what you allow, how smart you are, how easy you are, things like that. If you are around a certain group of people, that's automatically going to be, the perception of who you are. So who you are around is very important. And we're going to talk about this time frame right here, college. So again, she said she was in college and that's what happens. And she said because she was friends with certain girls or this friend group, she wanted to date a guy and he didn't take her serious because she was friends with certain girls who were hoes. She said it. So she was friends with hoes. Now, my thoughts, if I would put myself back in that time frame, that college time frames, that saying birds of a feather flock together, I would say that was 99% true on most of the people you meet around that age. If you meet a group of people that like to go to the club or a group of friends that like to go to the club, more than likely all those people in that group like certain things like drinking, partying, and things like that, especially when you're in that college phase. So they typically flock together. And I would say the same thing about certain cliques of females and males. A lot of people in that age bracket click up with people that do the things that they like to do. For example, the hoes. She just said she hung around with a bunch of hoes. Most of the time, if you saw 3 or 4 girls that were known for being hoes around each other all the time, every time you go out, you see those 4 or those 3. Typically, they all were on the same time. And what I mean by that is I've seen a bunch of times, countless occasions where it could be like 4 girls, 4 guys, they click up. And even if someone has like, a boyfriend or something like that, The girls will still mingle because they are with their friends and they don't want to feel left out. So they'll still mingle even if they're not really that interested. Numbers would get exchanged even if someone had a boyfriend. And I've seen this time after time after time in this age bracket. So I'm one that wholeheartedly believes that when it comes to, as she says, hoes, birds of a feather flock together. The hoes stick with the hoes, and the good girls stick with the good girls. Because I've met groups of good girls, and they were not on the same type time as like a group of hoes. But most of the time, when you meet a group of hoes, all of them are on the same time. Just my experience from what I've seen out there. Please let me know in the comments. Chop me up. Come on with it. I want to hear all your thoughts. But it goes back to what he was saying. If you don't want to be like labeled as a certain type of person, and we're talking about females, just females, so we can switch it to guys. I know guys that like cheat on their partners, cheat on their spouses, and they hang with other guys that would cover up for them, do the same thing, go to the script club. They doing the most as much as possible. If something happened at the end of the night, they get happy endings. This guy could cover for that guy. They flock together because, they know the other person is with it. So it doesn't just go for girls, it goes for guys too. But that's why it's very important to make sure you watch who you hang around. And it doesn't just go for relationship type of things. Let's say, for instance, you have a young man, teenager, that wants to be in the cool crowd, but the cool crowd is doing drugs, committing crimes, getting into fights all the time. If that good kid starts to mingle with the bad kids and starts, to become one of the flock, they will start to get the same traits. And that's anybody. The longer you're around somebody, it's natural that you start picking up some of their traits, or sometimes you could be more susceptible to doing certain things. I'm not saying if you got a friend that, does drugs, smoke a little weed or something, that you're going to automatically be a weed smoker too. No, but you're more susceptible because you're around it, if that makes sense. Another example is, if you like to work out, you're trying to stay healthy, right? If you're around other people that like to stay healthy, like to eat right, like to watch what they eat, and don't, just sit around and not be active, they are athletic, more than likely you will pick up some of those traits and want to be healthy too. You would want to go to the gym. You would want to be fit, like athletes. Athletes hang around people that, want to be fit because that's their job. Or it could be college athlete, it could be high school athlete, but someone that is striving for their own personal development in that area would surround themselves with other people that are like-minded, and that would actually help them develop. When you surround yourself with people that are doing things that are questionable, that you don't even respect or you don't even want to be associated with, you can fall victim to that. So that's why the people you're around is very important, and choosing your friends and who you associate with can be really detrimental to your success and your personal development. And I just talked about success. Like, if you want to be successful, or you want to become a millionaire or achieve grand feats of wealth and success, you will have to surround yourself with people that want the same thing, or, think about the same thing. So you kind of can get motivation, and they want it, you want it. You can inspire each other. If you don't, and you have all these big dreams, but no one around you has it, you're going to either have to shell yourself in, just be to yourself, or you could possibly get drugged down because the people you're around, they don't want much out of life, right? So that's why every successful person that I see, or every motivational speaker that I hear and listen to, you guys know my channel, they all say, if you want to achieve and be successful in whatever it is you're trying to do, you need to surround yourself with either people that are the epitome of what you're trying to be, or at least get the wisdom from people that have done it. And they say you can tell a lot about the people who you surround yourself with. Those people say a lot about who you are. And on that note, I want to end it with a clip from my boy Les Brown. He said it best.
My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. If you run around with losers, you will end up a loser. It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life if you want to live your dream.
Let's go. And Les Brown is one of my favorite motivational speakers. And you heard him. He said his mama used to say, if you hang around with losers, you're destined to become a loser too. So it's important that you get those losers about your life. Let me know if you like this style of video. And like always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.